Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
Is that right?
On a beautiful
Is that
Monday.
what we're doing?
It's a really pretty
We're
Monday.
doing the pre-show before the free show?
Yeah.
It is a pretty day.
Yeah, it's real
Pretty
nice.
day.
I definitely have a topic of conversation.
And we go over
I'm
to
coming
Ashley
in hot.
Pickle for America's favorite segment.
So we discussed last week that you put up Gobbles,
I did.
which is your giant inflatable turkey in his yard, if people don't know.
He's in his natural habitat, correct?
Gobbles have competition?
So my neighbor, Dave's a good guy. I like Dave.
Okay,
Dave,
darn it. I was waiting
No.
for, this guy.
now, Dave, if you're watching,
This makes it not as fun.
Dave's good people. Dave is definitely, so I live on a cul-de-sac.
Mm-hmm. Washed.
Just let that, I'm going to take a moment for that to
Washed.
settle in everybody. Dave is definitely like he's the party planning committee of the cul-de-sac.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy who,
Big HOA.
not even that,
Energy.
he's just always like, hey, you know what? So I believe, I don't want to blow up his spot here. I believe he's like a foster parent, and he's got a bunch, so he's got kids who come and live with him, and then like, I know that they have had parties for like whenever they have a new kid come and stuff like that. And then also like when a kid gets adopted, they have a big party, and like they have big birthday parties, and they make they're big
Spectacle.
Like, we
Yeah.
make big deals of things, which is great.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
So
type
big-
of people.
Yeah. And so they are also the people, his yard, if anything, I'm the poseur here,
Okay.
because his yard is
Stays decorated.
consistently bedazzled.
Okay.
Okay. He's the guy who, have you seen the thing where they'll go out there and they'll spell out something in your yard with the signs?
Yes, I have
Yes.
seen that. That was the new fad for a long
Yeah.
time. Maybe, and I think
Well,
COVID played a
it
little
was
bit
big in
into
the pandy
that.
too.
Yeah.
Big in the pandy because you can do the drive-by stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So 6 times a year, he'll have it for them. It'll be like, congratulations on graduating, you graduating 8th grade, blah,
Yeah.
blah, this and that. Big, like, let's make a big deal out of things guy.
Okay.
And one of those things is the inflatable turkey. He does have an inflatable turkey in his yard. He also had inflatables for, I know he has inflatables for,
Halloween and Christmas
Halloween.
are normal.
I think he has them for Christmas too. He's got a big thing. Anyway, all that's to say, I don't want to start a beef here. I am pretty sure we had gobbles before he had a turkey.
Yeah.
I think we inspired him.
He's like, I'm not going to let that guy out turkey me.
I am happy.
I was going to say, are you
share
seeing?
that.
Okay,
Yes.
are you seeing this as? Did you see
No.
it as we're gonna one up you, or did you see it as a now we have like everyone go ahead and get an inflatable turkey on our cul-de-sac?
I view that as everybody in the pool.
Okay.
Everybody, come
Okay,
on,
cool.
This is great. We're having a great time.
Yeah,
We're
I
enjoying
figured
this.
with Thanksgiving, like it's enough. Like people get wild over Christmas lights.
Mhm.
Like there's
already Christmas lights on the street over.
yeah,
and
but they're
furious.
like you'll go to some of those like super like last year we went and drove through like the super rich part of like Coppell, Flower Mound ish, and it's like you can tell there's like HOA contest and like some of them people devote their life to having the best house.
Here's the other thing, all right? And there
Which is something I
there
would
may
do.
be somebody in the comments that is going to get offended by what I say when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a bold truth teller. You know this about me, Pickle.
Yes.
You know I'm a bold truth teller.
Capital J journalist.
If you're paying someone to put up your Christmas lights,
No.
flawed guy.
Yep.
That's a DIY. Okay.
Yeah.
That is where I draw the line. Now you also know I'm a man of comfort.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I will pay a dude to come out.
I would say you will hire people.
I will hire
You
people.
will hire people before you
absolutely
have to do something
But
that's
a bridge too far.
Yeah.
That's
and
decorating your house. Come on.
And I feel like maybe it was you I was talking with like
Probably
the
was.
the
Probably the person I was
outside
talking
lights to some extent. It's like, okay, I never thought about having someone do that because we always just did it ourselves. The thing that really confused me, I was in Hobby Lobby not too long ago, and there was a lady in there. You could tell she like really knew the staff because they were like, "Oh, you're back again." She's like, "Yeah, it's Christmas tree decorating season for me," and I stopped in my tracks, and I was like, "Holy cow!" I never even. I was
a
like
professional interior decorator
Which,
or Christmas decorator.
Yeah, you think about like super nice, huge houses, and it's like, okay, they've got these 12, however many feet tall tree, and it's like, okay, but I was like, I
Okay.
never in my life even
Okay.
thought about that.
All right. So
ever.
Here's the thing. You've been to my home.
Yes.
You know that in the family room,
Mm-hmm.
it's a deal 2-story house, and it's got the tall ceiling.
Yeah.
It goes all the way up, right?
Yeah.
We could if we wanted to.
Y'all could have mega tree.
We could have Megatree
Yeah.
if we wanted to, but we don't. Do you know why? Because I'm the one who has to get up there and decorate it, and homie don't play that.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
No, it was just one of those things that I had
Yeah.
like, that's absolutely a thing, but I had never in my life once even considered paying someone to decorate my Christmas tree for me. That blew my mind.
That seems.
I just sat there and stared at the poor lady, and she kind of turned around and smiled, and I was like, "Oh, I'm staring. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Like I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's a wild time, but
I hope that there's a
lives.
bunch of turkeys around your cul-de-sac.
There are
like,
two.
I hope there's a farm.
There are
of
two,
them.
and I want to encourage the rest of my neighbors.
You should I can make you a flyer.
There's definitely one other house on the cul-de-sac that if I talked to him and I said you should get a turkey, then like Mike would be like, I'm gonna get a turkey.
Turkey gang.
I don't think
Greg,
I could get
Mike, and Dave.
I don't think I could get Nick. I don't think I can get Nick next door. I don't think I can get.
These are such generic names.
Oh God.
They're all 4-letter generic names.
Oh, the guy across the street. I can't remember his name.
Oh gosh, no.
I know his wife's name, but I don't want to say his wife's name because then he'll know I don't know his name. All right, hit the theme, Expo.
Whoop. Oh gosh.
This is going great. Pickle. Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a program coming to you via the miracle of the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I am the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. It's a magazine, texasfootball.com. That's a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live on texasfootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, or you listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks. She's Luka Doncic's biggest fan. She's Ashley Pickle.
You and Malpal gotta chill. That's a lie. Well, I just called you earlier a capital J journalist, and now you're out here feeding lies to people. Don't worry, guys. I'm honest with you.
Hold on. I'm doing a tweet and a big announcement. Tune in now. And tweet. Today
Go retweet
is Monday, November 15th, 2021. We are a microscopic 10 days till Thanksgiving, the best day of the year. Happy birthday to, do you know anybody's birthday today?
No.
Happy birthday to, boy, neither do I apparently. Macho Man Randy Savage. Happy birthday, Macho Man, wherever you are, up there doing elbow drops in heaven. Episode 1282. On today's show, friends, got Monday Morning Fallout. We're going to overreact to the football weekend. Just a bit to overreact to.
Yeah, nothing too much.
Then we'll be joined by the head coach of the El Paso Eastwood Troopers. Our buddy, Coach Julio Lopez, will join us, who is coming off of a pretty historic win there for the Troopers in the first round of the playoffs, taking down Abilene. We will talk all about that and all that implies and why that's so special, coming up with Julio Lopez. I had to tell him, Pickle, I had to do the thing where I had to tell him that I'll call you at 11:20 your time.
Yes, because we are heading back to not God's time zone.
Going to the past. And then back half of the show, we have an announcement to make. I'm going to leave it at that. We got an announcement to make. It's coming up here in just a little bit. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Rob Hadaway, Aaron Arbuckle, Mike Paris, and Coach Terry Crawford.
Coach Terry Crawford.
How about them 11-0 Abbott Panthers?
11-0 Abbott Panthers on their way to take on. Hold on, I know this. Abbott is playing Newcastle this week. So I think they're favored. Anyway, we'll get into that. All right. Lot to get to. No time to waste. Pickle. Hit the air. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout.
Oh, that's just cringeworthy.
Monday Morning Fallout, of course, when we overreact to the football weekend. And quite a bit to get to, folks. We'll start with my three big thoughts. Thought number one, the wildest first round in modern Texas high school football history.
I would agree with this.
So, you and I were not together on Friday.
No.
You were off at your game in Austin?
No.
San Antonio?
No.
Houston?
Yes.
Nailed it. Third try.
I had the Bridgeland game. It was awesome.
That's right. You had the Bridgeland game. And I want to be very clear. I want to be careful here because I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, right? I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment and say, oh, wow, like the thing that happened most recently is the most amazing thing. It's the most amazing thing that's ever happened. Because it's not true. That's not necessarily true. But upon further review and upon a little bit of soul searching and a little bit of research, I think I'm ready to declare this past weekend the wildest first round in modern Texas high school football history.
Yep.
How I would define modern is since they started taking 4 teams in the playoffs. Okay. Since then, I don't know that we've ever had this wild of a week or in the first round. Because normally, as you know, the first round can be a bit snoozy.
Yeah, you'll get, a handful. But we'll say 5 games that are really kind of okay.
Yes.
But
you'll have a few.
Not this.
You'll have a few. But what you won't have are just a slew of earth-shattering, bracket-busting, calamity-inducing upsets.
Especially on the Thursday night.
Thursday night
wild.
Got crazy town banana pants.
Yeah.
And Friday night didn't sober up all that much.
No, it really didn't.
I'll say that. We have, I believe the grand total is 26 fourth place teams won their first round playoff game. Okay? Now, some of them come with a little bit of an asterisk. Burton beat Christoval. Now, that knocks out my Region 4 pick, which I thought I was being a cool hipster and picking Christoval to win Region 4. But Burton is a different situation because Burton, you may remember, they are now 9-1 on the field, but they had to forfeit 10 or 7 games or something like that, or maybe they're 10-1 on the field now. But they were not your average fourth place team. But you certainly had ones that I think are earth-shattering. Mm-hmm. Among them, Tomball over Cy Ranch, or Cy Park, rather.
Yes.
Another of my regional finalists, kaput.
Yeah, your brackets got hit
blasted
hard.
into the sun. Tomball, who, remember, we had in the picks video in Week 11 because they were in a win-or-go-home Week 11 game. Mm-hmm. Cale Helms just puts on the cape and decides to knock out Cy Park.
And that wasn't I watched that whole thing. It wasn't a fluke. That was legitimately they were the better team
Tomball was the better
whole
team.
way.
Tomball was the better team.
Like,
that's
never a doubt.
Debatable. One that flew under people's radar, Georgetown beat Dripping Springs.
Yeah.
Unbeaten state-ranked Dripping Springs, and Georgetown beat them 62-55 in a wild shootout, which actually tracks.
Yep.
As somebody who saw Georgetown in Week 11, I was like, that team can score. Mm-hmm. That team can score. I have questions about their defense. That team can score. And they were able to get into a dogfight and a shootout, a firefight with Dripping Springs and come away with the win. We had teams like Tyler Legacy handing Garland the dreaded 10-1.
Yep.
Right? We had teams like San Antonio East Central beating San Antonio Reagan. Now, Reagan, I think, was on their third quarterback, so a small asterisk there. Don't tell that to East Central. Nope. They ain't got to apologize for nothing. You had Saginaw Boswell taking down, Hazlitt Eaton. You had Prosper getting white hot and beating Flower Mound Marcus.
Mm-hmm. In overtime.
Right? What Barbers Hill?
Yep.
What Barbers Hill or Fort Bend Marshall?
Talk about a bracket buster.
I mean,
for
everyone.
Checks notes, every single person.
We all had Fort Bend Marshall winning that region.
Yep.
And Barbers Hill gets the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the one that I think really caught everybody's attention.
Yeah, the
biggest one.
Bracket buster.
And that was Stanton beating Childress.
Yes.
We talked with Cody Hogan on Scoreboard on Friday night.
That was a good interview.
When I say this, guys, I mean what I'm saying here. That is Stanton over Childress, state-ranked number 3, undefeated Childress, fresh off their win over Canadian, fresh off their district championship. That is the largest upset in Texas high school football this season, period. Okay? It's the biggest one. They're 47-point dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They were 7 touchdown underdogs, according to the Dave Campbell's computer. They just hauled off and beat them. Okay? And so, when you take a look at the rubble that is now strewn about us in the Texas high school football world, yes, look, a lot of teams took care of their business. Alito won. Shiner and Refugio won.
Mm-hmm.
Mart won. A lot of teams took care of their business. In fact, we didn't lose a defending champ.
Nope.
We didn't lose.
We didn't lose any. Someone tweeted that.
None of us lost a state championship pick. But just on that next layer, there was unbelievable chaos, the likes of which we have never, ever seen in modern Texas high school football history in the first round. Thought number 2. Stop talking about Texas like a power program.
Yeah. Like there's no other way to put it.
So Saturday night, I went to a wedding.
Oh, nice.
And I came home, and I was able to catch the fourth quarter and overtime of the Texas game against Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas won, by the way, if you didn't know, in overtime. And I get on Twitter afterwards,
mm-hmm.
and there is all of this, like, going nuts and, like, dunking on Texas and just, like, going crazy about, oh, my gosh, Kansas beat Texas. Can you believe it? Oh, my gosh, how the mighty have fallen. And the only thing I'm thinking of is, like, why is this a big deal? It's time we change the conversation about the Texas Longhorns, guys. Texas, since 2014, is now 52-39. They're 52-39 since 2014. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, Pickle. They're not 52-39. They're, in fact, 52-45. They're worse than that. Do you know who's 52-39? Arizona State.
Yeah,
Do we talk about Arizona State in hushed tones whenever they get beat at home by a team they should beat?
Mm-mm.
No. And they've been better than Texas for the better part of the last decade. And yet, I think everybody gets hung up on Texas because there's the big ego, there's a lot of money, they've got recent success and things like that. But the bottom line of it is that bad teams and bad programs lose games they shouldn't. And that's what happened. That's what happened. And it's time that we, and this is a habit I have to break. I think this is a habit everybody has to break. But we just got to quit talking about it like that. We don't talk about USC in those same ways. Texas and USC are functionally in the same boat in a lot of ways, right? We don't talk about Nebraska in that same way.
No. I think,
kind of a similar situation.
Well,
they've had historic success, but just because they've had historic success does not make them a healthy program right now. That's a rotten program right now.
No, and what has to happen is there has to be a loss in that caliber to open people's eyes to the shifting tides. Like, you can sit there and we can talk about that record and how terrible it is. But, yeah, in order to actually break the mindset of how people look at Texas, it takes a loss to a 1-8 Kansas program to do that.
Texas is not a power program right now, guys. Maybe they will be soon. But it's just like the assumption that they are and then treating them as such, it's just got to change, because right now it's shaping the narrative in a way that I just don't think is factual and reflective of the facts on the ground. I mean, they are like I said, they are worse than Arizona State over the past 7, eight,
that's the thing,
7+ years.
The not noticing the longevity of this.
Yeah, since Mac Brown left, they are Arizona State. So treat them like Arizona State. And thought number 3, a moment for the forgotten and the far-flung. One of the reasons I like 4 teams making the playoffs in the Texas high school football playoffs, one of the reasons I like it is that you end up giving an opportunity for programs and teams that we haven't talked about in a long time to get a moment in the spotlight, to have an opportunity to make some headlines, to make some waves, right? And this is a moment for teams that are never go like that don't get that kind of spotlight in a normal situation. I'll give you an example, and that was what the game that Matt Stepp was at on Saturday. Matt Stepp was down there watching San Antonio Lanier being San Antonio Southside. And you're probably thinking, if you're not from San Antonio, you're probably thinking like, okay, who cares? Like the Vokes beat San Antonio Southside. Who cares? That is the first playoff win for San Antonio ISD since 2012. That's a moment to celebrate. How about an Eagle Pass?
Yeah.
Both Eagle Pass and Eagle Pass win get victories in the first round of the playoffs. It's the first time ever that both programs have played into the second round the same year. That's awesome. And we're about to talk to one of the coaches. It was a tremendous week for El Paso.
Yeah.
El Paso Eastwood goes and beats Abilene in the playoffs at Shotwell. That is the first El Paso team to beat an Abilene team in the playoffs since 1937.
Lord.
El Paso Riverside gets their by-district win. El Paso Chapin comes back and beats El Paso Amarillo Caprock. And who is the other one? There's another El Paso team that was of note. It was, let me see, I tweeted about it. But it was a tremendous week for El Paso. And so for me, that is what this, the other one I was thinking about, Eastlake took down San Angelo Central. Those are the stories worth celebrating. Those are the things that give you an opportunity to get excited about those programs and give them their moment in the spotlight. That's another reason why I like 4 teams in the playoffs is you've got these areas that maybe you don't think about a lot. When's the last time you thought about Eagle Pass football?
Yeah.
Great. It's party time in Maverick County. 3 big thoughts. 3 helmet stickers. A helmet sticker to Stephenville quarterback Ryder Lambert. It was not a surprise that Stephenville won this game.
No.
He throws for 373 yards and 5 touchdowns. He had a 14-yard touchdown run. The stat I want to throw out to you, Pickle. Did you see this? 20 pass attempts, 20 completions.
Yeah,
that's efficiency.
That's insane.
Mwah. Excellent stuff.
Shout out to his receivers, too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Takes 2 tango. Ryder Lambert for Stephenville, a helmet sticker. A helmet sticker to Texas Tech kicker Jonathan Garibay.
62
All
yards.
right. I told you I was at a wedding.
Yeah.
I was at a wedding. It was an Aggie wedding, so they had a TV outside where there were people crowded around watching the Ole Miss game, but they were not watching, as you can probably imagine, the end of Texas Tech and Iowa State.
No.
Right? And so I checked my phone. At the end, I knew Iowa State was like mounting this big comeback. I'm like, oh no, this is not going to go great for Tech. And I checked my phone in the middle of during the reception. I was like, oh hey, Tech won 41-38, some of that. And then I looked at it. I was like, what?
Yep.
Jonathan Garibay, a 62-yard bomb.
Dude, he sailed it
to win the game. Like, even have you heard the Tech radio announcers call?
No, I haven't.
The vibe that they've got is very much like, I guess we'll try this.
Yeah.
There's no harm in this, I guess.
And that was to make them eligible to go bowling.
Yes.
Like, how cool is that?
It got about halfway there, and unfortunately, I forget the Tech radio guy. He's been there forever. He's great. He's a great radio guy. But like the kick gets halfway there, and he suddenly starts perking up like,
oh, this could go.
For the first time, he conceived of the idea that this might go in.
Yep.
So Jonathan Garibay, the Texas Tech kicker, gets a helmet sticker and probably does not buy drinks in Lubbock for the rest of the year. And finally, a helmet sticker to Tomball quarterback Cale Helms. We mentioned him. He put on the cape in their win over Cy Park. 137 yards and 2 touchdowns passing, 255 yards and a pair of touchdowns on the ground as Tomball
they could not stop him.
Cy Park. It was a remarkable victory here. Kevin Blanken's squad and Cale Helms was the man at the controls. Teams to watch: Georgetown. Georgetown was part of a few different districts. I believe there were 26 total districts that pulled off the sweep. That all 4 of their teams won. They were, of course, the 4th place finisher, knocked off previously unbeaten Dripping Springs. That speaks to the strength, I think, of District 11 5A Division 1. Weiss, Maynard, Georgetown, Cedar Park all won. this is a team with Darson Herman at the quarterback that is going to be a problem for everybody. I have some questions about their defense, but it don't matter. They may be one of those teams that can outscore their problems.
Yeah.
They were tremendous in this game and pulled off the shocker, knocking off the previously unbeaten state-ranked Dripping Springs Tigers. Team to watch. Angelo State. We will have words about the selection committees for other divisions, most notably Division III. How do you leave Hardin Simmons out?
Yeah,
I
idea.
I am extremely upset. But Angelo State gets into the Division II.
War on selection committees is going to be your new hashtag. He gets his blood boiled. If I ever want to push a button, it's the selection committee button on Greg Tepper.
Just leave it up to the computers, you ding-dongs. Anyway, Angelo, I don't want to take anything away. Angelo State got a big win. They took down, or rather, they are now into the Division II playoffs. Keep an eye on them as the Division II playoffs get going this week. And finally, Poteet.
Yeah, how about that?
The Aggies get a win in their playoff game. Now, they were favored. I want to be clear. They were the favorite in that game. But did you know, Pickle, that was their first playoff win since 1958.
Yeah.
1958. The Poteet Aggies have their first playoff win since 1958. Congratulations to them.
They got Vanderbilt Industrial.
They do.
This
Should
weekend.
be a big win.
Yeah.
Big game, rather. Maybe a big one. Who knows?
Yeah, we can see.
I don't know. It's probably going to be a good game. 3 to see. College Station and Frisco Lone Star. I have a lot of thoughts on College Station and Frisco Lone Star.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it center around, like, this is the real big test for College Station. And if they pass it, then, like...
They're for real.
Then, like, we're talking Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
Lone Star is battle-tested, but you could also make an argument that their two best wins are losses.
Yep.
Right? Alito and Denton Ryan. So can they get that signature win? That's a huge game that will really shape what the 5A Division I bracket looks like.
And I'll be there.
UTSA and UAB. This was the game we had circled before the year.
Yep.
I don't know if any of us. I think we could have dreamed. We could have squinted and seen UTSA undefeated. But we thought that this might be the biggest game in UTSA history.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably the last big hurdle before Conference USA title game.
Yes.
They can clinch a spot in the Conference USA title game with a win. Massive game down there at the Alamo Dome. It's going to be rocking down there. And finally, in the 6-man ranks, May and Jonesboro.
This is such a banger.
Folks.
This is such a banger.
Folks.
And keep in mind, they're already in the regional semis.
Yeah, this is the regional semis or the area round.
Yeah.
Don't get people started on what that on what that's called.
What it's called.
This is in the second. Let's just say, okay, it's the second round of the playoffs. We can say that, guys. This is number 1 versus number 2 in the 1A Division I bracket. Number 1 versus number 2 in our final postseason rankings. Now playing the second stinking round.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. May and Jonesboro. That's 3 to see. That's Monday Morning Fallout. We are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. We have window washers.
I was fixing to ask, oh yeah, there they are. I was like, I think someone's legitimately like hitting this window, but I couldn't.
Yeah, we have window washers.
Oh, hi guys.
What great timing, guys! It's not like we're doing world's most celebrated internet show.
Something is legitimately hitting this window.
Pickle, Dave Campbell's Texas Football in partnership with Ozarka is proud to honor one team in each classification with the Ozarka Fueled by Nature Team of the Week Award. The team selected throughout the course of this program have exemplified the best in Texas high school football. I will get it out for you, Ozarka.
Program.
Your Week 12 by district. They can't keep throwing extra words at me like by district. Week 12. Ozarka Fueled by Nature Teams of the Week. In 6A, El Paso Eastwood. We're about to talk with their coach. After finishing in 4th place in their own district, the Troopers traveled to Shotwell Stadium and knocked off the favored Abilene Eagles 31-27, becoming the first El Paso team to beat an Abilene team in the playoffs since 1937. In 5A, Georgetown, facing undefeated district champion Dripping Springs, the Eagles were unfazed as quarterback Darson Herman put on a clinic in their 63-56 upset win over the Tigers. In 4A, Port Isabel, the Tarpons defense flexed its muscles against previously unbeaten Carrizo Springs, shutting down the Wildcats for a 23-8 by district victory. In 3A, Corpus Christi, London. In one of the wildest playoff games of the week, the Pirates rallied from a 21-0 deficit to force extra time before edging Goliad 27-21 in double overtime. In 2A, do you see this? Schulenburg, The Shorthorns didn't let the fact that they were facing a district champion bother them, running all over state-ranked Mason 29-16 to hand the Punchers their first-round defeat since 2013. In 1A, Van Horn, in an unbelievable first-round playoff game that featured 16 lead changes, the Eagles edged perennial power Garden City 70-69 to advance to the area round. Or regional semifinals, your mileage may vary. And the private school ranks Austin St. Michael's. The Crusaders took to the fight to Houston Lutheran South in their first-round playoff matchup, taking down the Pioneers 37-14. So those are your Ozarka Fueled by Nature teams of the week for Week 12. Congratulations to all the schools. We salute you. For more information, visit texasfootball.com. And now a word from our friends at From Now On.
From Now On is a proud sponsor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and your school's one-stop shop for community connection. Simplify your athletic communications with From Now On. Their FanX platform gives schools at all levels of the game a one-stop shop mobile experience that makes driving communication, creating engagement, and generating revenue easy. From Now On helps connect your school community with everything they need to win on game day. Schedules, streams, digital tickets, real-time notifications, and more. Learn more by visiting their website at from-now-on.com or follow them on Twitter or Instagram at FromNowOnEXP.
Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's bring in the head coach of the area round bound El Paso Eastwood Troopers. We're joined by Coach Julio Lopez. Coach, how are you, my friend?
Good. I was going to say good morning, but I always know you guys are an hour ahead over there, so good afternoon.
Yeah, it always throws us around here. How are things in the beautiful Sun City?
Can't complain. We're preparing for a game. So I guess anytime you're preparing for a game that, this late in the year, it's always a good thing, right?
And you guys are preparing for a game by virtue of doing something that hasn't been done in, more than 80 years, and that is to go on the road and beat a team from Abilene as an El Paso team. Look, I think people look at these first-round matchups with El Paso teams getting outside and going and playing, teams from maybe the little Southwest Conference or things like that, and say, oh, well, the El Paso team is the underdog. Do you guys talk about that? Do you feel that way? Do you harness that, or are you just saying, no, let's go out there and win a ball game?
I think a little bit of both. I think we all as coaches look for locker room material. So, I want to thank Matt for picking us a 17-point dog. But, I think, overall, I think the reality is, being from El Paso and all of us here wanting to change the narrative for how we're looked at, across the state in terms of football. I think that we all know that when we go on the road and we have these games, there's always an opportunity to change the narrative. And in our case, I mean, like you said, the reality is that it really hadn't been done. It was pretty neat because the only other team, well, I'm going to take away 1939 for a second, but the only other team to do it and beat Abilene in the playoffs was Del Valle in 2001 from El Paso. So, and ironically enough, the head coach who did it was Chuck Valise, who was my head coach in high school. So I got a nice text from him yesterday, but it was just an exciting night for all of us, for the program. I think I heard an interview with I'm just going to say Coach A because I don't want to butcher his name live on your show here, but
Coach Abinchan,
Coach John, Coach John over there from Boswell. I heard an interview he did when they upset Eaton, and he did an interview with I think Brian Gossett, and it just really rang true to me. He said that it might be an upset, and everybody else across the state didn't expect them to win, except for the people in that locker room. And I felt the same way Friday. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of people who didn't think we had a chance or didn't think we'd win. But I'll tell you, our parents, our kids, our program, we've been building to this moment. And it took us 7 years. It kind of took us it's taking us year by year taking steps. But we're happy with where we're at right now, and we're definitely not done yet.
Well, you guys made the 6.5-hour bus ride to Shotwell, and for a lot of teams, that would be a problem or a new thing. But it struck me in thinking about this weekend. You're a crazy person, and you have consistently put your team on a bus and said, why don't we drive to Mars and play a football game? You guys have spent a lot of time on the bus. Do you feel like now, going on the road for that playoff game, do you feel like that experience of taking those long road trips and playing teams from outside of El Paso and insisting on making those long road trips, do you feel like that benefited you on Friday night?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to correct you for a second. It definitely was not 6.5. It might be 6.5 if you're driving. But we left at 9:30 here in El Paso on Thursday, and we did not get to our practice at the Shotwell Auxiliary Field until 7 o'clock at night.
Oh,
So it was a
my.
long trip for us. But yeah, you know what? I every year we're trying to schedule and kind of be unorthodox with the way we do things. Obviously we played Plano. I'll tell you that Smithson Valley trip we took earlier in the year, and that was a great Smithson Valley team we played with Coach Hill, and they're still in it, obviously. And it was a hostile environment. It's probably as hostile as we've ever been in, with a great student section and a great crowd and great environment. And, the reason we do it is to prepare us for moments like this. And, obviously you don't go into the year wanting to go to Abilene for a first round game. We would have loved to have them come here, but just the way it played out, I'll be honest too. We played Abilene in 7-on-7 SQT in Midland and in Lubbock, and we beat them in both. And the Lubbock one had the state trip on the line. And I know you're going to get everybody pounding on the table saying 7-on-7 doesn't matter, but for us, when we take trips even like that, it's just a chance to expose our kids to different level of competition. It's a chance to expose our kids to a different part of the state. And, I'm not going to, I'm going to sit here and tell you, I think that those two 7-on-7 tournaments where we beat them were just, other chinks in the armor that we're trying to chip away at, that just give our kids confidence when we get into a game like this past Friday. And I think it matters, in our opinion, it matters.
Well, and that, to follow up on that, because I think that's an excellent point. I agree with the people who are like, oh, it doesn't matter from a schematic perspective, because you're not running your 7-on-7 offense out there against Abilene High on a Friday night in November. But if you want to talk about, in my opinion, I'm not in the room, you are, that strikes me as, yeah, we can hang with these guys. We can play with the guys from a confidence perspective. And as you know, the game is so much between the ears. From a confidence perspective, that's got to feel like, no, like this is a team we've played with. We can hang. We belong on the same field as them. There's no reason to bow down just because they're from Abilene.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, I would never say 7-on-7 is the true litmus test for how your year's going to go in November. But I'll tell you, again, just from mentally, from a standpoint of, hey, we're going to get out there, we're going to compete, we're going to believe we can win, whether it's 7-on-7 or if we're playing them in checkers on the road, it doesn't matter. Like every time we get a chance to suit up against them in any capacity and win a game, whether it's 7-on-7 or a football game or whatever, I just think it helps the psyche of the program. And it chips away at that armor that the rest of the state, at least at this point, has over El Paso. And it was a great night for El Paso in general.
Mm-hmm.
Eastlake beats San Angelo Central. Chapin and Coach Warner, they go for 2 and beat Caprock here. I mean, even just from a 6A perspective, to be able to split the night, I think was huge. And again, I just think it speaks to the quality of football we have here. It speaks to those chances we're getting to, again, chip away at that mentality or chip away at that narrative that we're one and done. And, again, we're just excited to be preparing for a game this week.
Julio Lopez, the head coach of the El Paso Eastwood Troopers, joined us here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, a big reason why, one of the big reasons why you guys are playing and you guys are practicing this week is the play of QB1, Andrew Martinez, who has been sensational for you guys all year long. The numbers speak for themselves. He ran for the game-winning touchdown there in the final moments, or the final minutes of the game. You've been around a lot of quality quarterbacks out there, not only at Eastwood but in El Paso in general. What is it about Andrew Martinez that makes him special?
The kid's just a winner. I mean, and his mentality, it's been so special to be able to coach him really the last 3 years, because our quarterback, his sophomore year, Christian Castaneda, we lost him mid-year. So Andrew ended up taking over as the full-time starter as a sophomore. But I mean, like you said, the numbers speak for themselves. The wins speak for themselves. The kid is a winner. He's a great leader of our program. He's the first one in, last one out mentality with him, and I'm just lucky he's the Corvette and I'm just driving it. So I mean, for me, it's just been a blessing to have him. And if you don't know who Andrew Martinez is, I encourage you to look up his highlight film. Curtis Murillo is having. I mean, that guy's as dynamic as it gets. That guy plays like 160 plays a game. Not only as our starting receiver, but as our starting corner. He had the game-sealing interception. Sam Lopez is as good as the dual threat back as you get in that offense, with over 1,200 all-purpose yards. And then Aaron Rodriguez is just our big target on the outside with 14 touchdowns and nearing 1,000 yards. And I got to be honest too, the play, especially the last couple weeks of our defense has really been the difference. I feel they're clicking at the right time. We made some adjustments after our loss to Eastlake that have really paid off right now, and we're reaping the benefit.
Now it's on to the next one, Coach. You mentioned it. You guys have a date this week, and you will take on equally surprising, Saginaw Boswell, who also knocked off. They knocked off a district champ last week. And I know that I don't want to ask you to give away your game plan. I know you mentioned listening to an interview with Coach Jolin Hamachan there at Boswell. Looking at film, what's it going to take for you guys to win on Friday night? What are you up against?
Yeah, we got to start fast. I think that's one of the biggest things that we've been able to do the last couple of weeks is just really when we start fast and get out ahead. I think that just bodes well for us. They're physical. Obviously, they played a great game against Eaton. They forced a lot of mistakes in a lot of different areas where they forced a couple of turnovers. They capitalized on them. So, for us, it's just doing what we do. We really believe in what we do down here. We believe in our schemes. We believe they're good enough to win. And I just think playoff football comes down to who makes the least amount of mistakes and who can get that one big play at the end that puts you out in front. So I think if we can do that, I really like our chances. And it's a special week for us. Eastwood has never been to the third round of the playoffs in our school history. As a matter of fact, just even with this win on Friday, outside the fact it was Abilene, Eastwood had never, we got hired in 2015. We beat Friendship that first year in the playoffs, but prior to that, Eastwood had never even been an out-of-town team in the playoffs before. All the by-district wins were all in-town wins. So, it's special to have these opportunities to, again, not only beat an Abilene Friday, but to do something that this school has never done when it's been in existence for over 60 years. So we're excited at the opportunity, and we just got to play our best football to advance.
Well, and I imagine you have to be excited because it's only, you get to shave an hour off that drive. You guys are going to Lubbock Cooper. That's a hop, skip, and a jump compared to Abilene. So yeah, it's the just a quick jaunt over there to Lubbock.
Well, the only thing I could say is the trip back felt a little shorter with a trophy.
Yeah, I can imagine that's the case. He's Julio Lopez. He's the head coach of the area round-bound El Paso Eastwood Troopers. Coach, congratulations again on the big win. Best of luck on Friday night. We'll be watching.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. There he goes, Julio Lopez, the head coach of the El Paso Eastwood Troopers, of course, making some history out there in El Paso. It was a great week for El Paso, a great week for Eastwood. He mentioned that there's not a huge amount of playoff success there, and so now, and by the way, look, that game with Boswell is, I'd call it right now. I think it's a one-score game. I think that they are two teams that are pretty evenly matched. Yeah. Both obviously brimming with confidence right now. Feel like they can go out there and beat the world. And I'm excited about it. It's going to be going down at Pirate Stadium there in Lubbock Cooper Friday night, 7:00, and an opportunity for Eastwood to make history. And I'll just tell you, an El Paso team in the third round of the playoffs is a big stinking deal.
It is.
So
it absolutely is.
An opportunity to really make some noise out there in the Sun City, and our buddy Julio Lopez. I did not want to bring up, because you know where he went. He's a former Miners receiver. I don't want to bring it up because I know you're a jerk.
Coach knows. He would be fine with it.
I don't think he would. Anyway, we appreciate Julio Lopez, head coach of the El Paso Eastwood Troopers, joining us here.
Everyone is very clear on my stance about how much I love El Paso.
Yes.
So,
yeah. No.
There's clear rooting favorite there for El Paso at all point in time.
Exactly. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbells. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up in just a moment, an announcement. I was going to say a major announcement.
Texas football today. We got an announcement.
It's pretty major. I'd say it's pretty major. So stick tuned for that. But first, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, in conjunction with the Texas Bowl, is proud to present the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Every Monday, TexasFootball.com announces 10 candidates for that week's award based on the previous week's on-field performance. We then leave it up to you. Voting at TexasFootball.com is open until Friday at noon, at which point we will announce the winner right here on this Thar Internet Show. Your Week 12 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week nominees: Pflugerville Weiss quarterback Dior Bradfield, Another guy I got to see in Week 11.
Mm-hmm.
This kid's got the juice. 384 yards and 8 touchdowns passing. I believe they were all in the first half. There was at least like 6 in the first half. They were cooking. Pflugerville Weiss quarterback Dior Bradfield. Burleson wide receiver Luke Peterson. 8 catches, 343 yards, and 6 touchdowns receiving.
Insane.
Go off, young man. Texas High running back Braylon Stewart, a closer. 311 yards and 4 touchdowns rushing for Braylon Stewart. Denton Geyer defensive back Eli Bowen had 5 tackles, 2 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, and he returned one of those picks for a touchdown in their win over Flower Mound.
I'm sure Rodney Webb is saying, that'll do.
Speaking of that'll do, Georgetown quarterback Darson Herman, 328 yards, 3 touchdowns passing, 172 yards, and 6 touchdowns rushing. That's a 9-tutty performance for Darson Herman in a playoff game. Mineola athlete Dawson Pendergrass, 262 yards, 4 touchdowns rushing, 2 catches, 74 yards, touchdown receiving, 5 tackles, and an interception.
Easy work.
Clear Springs wide receiver Noah Thomas, 11 catches, 210 yards, 4 touchdowns receiving. He added 2 tackles for funds. Mount Vernon wide receiver Caden Kaufman, 9 catches, 225 yards, 4 touchdowns receiving. He also threw for 34 yards. Bell's running back and defensive back Bo Baker, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns rushing. He had a receiving touchdown. He returned a kickoff for a touchdown. He had 6 tackles. He had an interception, and he blocked PAT.
Sure. Goodness.
Sure, buddy. Leave some for the rest of us. And finally, El Paso Chapin wide receiver and defensive back Anthony Rivera. 8 catches, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns receiving, plus 15 tackles, an interception, and a forced fumble.
Good
Those
Lord.
are your Week 12 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week nominees. Vote early, vote often, vote now at texasfootball.com. Okie dokie, Pickle, one last thing to do today, and that is...
Announcement!
We have a bit of an announcement. There's been a lot of rumors out there about this, and I guess it's only time to reveal to people what we've been cooking up, and we have something to tell you guys.
I need you to do a drum roll.
Don't put it up yet.
Oh, no, okay.
Fine, there it is. Go ahead. The watch-along's back, guys. The Dave Campbell's Texas Football Watch-along, we're doing it again!
Go.
It's going to be El Campo and Lindale.
What a banger.
7 o'clock Thursday night. Watch it live for free. Courtesy of our friends at Texan Live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. We're going to have a great time, and we've got a great crew joining us. It's going to be Pickle and I. Plus, Dave Campbell's Texas Football College Football Insider Mike Craven will be in the building, talking a little bit of college football, and he is a big high school football fan as well. And we got 2 headline guests. One of them, the supernova herself,
My girl.
Bally Sports Southwest host Erin Hardigan will be in the studio with us. She is very much looking forward to this.
I am so excited. It's about time we got another blonde chick in here.
And we'll be joined by somebody who knows a little something about football. Finally, somebody who knows something about football. Our buddy, the head coach of the McKinney Lions, Coach Marcus Shaver, is going to join us in the studio.
I got a clip. We have a clip of him we need to pull up. I have a clip that I have ready.
Shavers is good people. We are going to have, I imagine we'll have some stuff to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
He is not one to be shy. So that's Hardigan, though. Very quiet and
Yeah,
reserved.
super
I'm gonna be like
laid back.
pulling teeth with her.
Yeah.
It's going to be El Campo and Lindale, a 4A Division I area round playoff matchup going down at McLean Stadium. You can watch it live for free. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. The one thing we ask for you guys would be if you guys, if you like what you see, maybe subscribe to Texan Life.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like your little taste.
I was fixing to say, man, this is a big time playoff game, and so a lot of people would be going, why are y'all giving this away for free? But it's because we want you to see what we can do.
We're proud of our
and
product.
Then, yeah.
We want you to see it, and we think that if you see it, you're going to want more of it.
Yeah.
And
the playoffs are the best time to get more of it.
Yeah, and so we hope you will tune in Thursday, 7 o'clock kickoff.
I was like, I can't make it Friday.
No, me neither. 7 o'clock kickoff on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. It's El Campo, it's Lindale. You can watch the game live with running commentary from McKinney head coach Marcus Shavers, Bally Sports Southwest, Erin Hardigan, Mike Craven of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, Ashley Pickle, and myself. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you tune in with us Thursday night there on those variety of channels. There it is. There's our big announcement. We've been working on it.
Yeah.
We've been looking to secure Marcus Shavers for a minute, and we finally did.
Yeah.
We got with his agent.
Yeah, you got to go through a lot of doors. That's
we met his
in
fee.
demand.
We met his fee.
Yeah.
And
Which is pizza.
Well, don't give it away. Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's go over to Ashley
That's
Pickle
my
for
fee.
America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
Had a couple questions as to when the games are going to be up on the app. That takes a hot minute for us to do.
I can explain that to you.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's the thing.
It's like you can pull
All
it
those
behind.
things, we don't mention him enough, but Jerry Forrest, the
Yeah.
king.
Our guy.
Jerry Forrest is the guy who runs. He is the DCT.
We need to call him like the brain.
He is the DCT of computer.
Yeah.
Like it's his computer. And he has to go in and hand code each of those games.
Mm-hmm.
And so that takes some time, as you can probably imagine.
Right.
Now, it'll take less time than it did last week because ta-da, there's
less
half as many games. So it will get updated. I promise you, it will be up there on the app. We're working on it and stuff like that. But it just literally takes time because we have to go through it and code it in.
I was going to say, like you can think about it this way too. When you have the regular season stuff, the games at least are already in there, so he still has to go through and do it. But he's not having to input games. Now he's having to input games and go code everything.
Right.
So if you're looking for the playoff games, TexasFootball.com/playoffs. They're
Yes.
all on there. They're all on. You can go to game times and location. They're all on one thing. And yeah, it's easy to find it there. So the app will happen, but if you're looking for stuff, hit up the website.
Absolutely. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Julio Lopez, head coach of the El Paso Eastwood Troopers, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young. Oh my gosh. Joking at the very end. Please give me your trophy. We'll see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.